First, before we get to that story, just moments ago, the show-stopping finale at the Air and Water Show was about to take place. The crowd favorite, the Thunderbirds, had to cancel.
Let's go right to CBS 2's outdoor adventure expert, Brawdy. Brian, I understand something from one of the Thunderbirds' planes actually fell off and into the water.
John, you're absolutely right. First, the good news, according to the Air Force spokesperson for the Thunderbirds, Captain Angie Johnson, all 6 of the jets have made it back safely to the Gary Jet Center. Here's what we know now from highly placed CBS sources. At about 3:35 local time, John and Sylvia, which would have made it about 15 minutes into an anticipated 45-minute show, what's called the Missle rail fell off of the starboard wing of the number 4. That's the number 4 Thunderbird jet. As it was explained to me, because this is obviously a peacetime show, there's not actually a missile. As I understand it in my mind, it's the yoke that would normally attach the missile to the wing of that plane. It was traveling at about 200 miles an hour at what's called center point, right here in front of the main viewing stand, when the yoke, which is approximately 6 feet long, fell off into the water. John and Sylvia, here's something else that I've learned, at least tentatively. The air line, if you will, the line on the water, has a boundary from the shoreline to 3,000 feet out. From 3,000 feet and further out into the lake, you're able to pull your boats. 3,000 feet and in, it's restricted water space, if you will, just for the happenstance of this occasion. And the plane was roughly at about 1,500 feet out from the shoreline when, again, the missile rail departed from the wing of the number 4 jet.
That's very interesting, because that's just what I was going to ask you. Coming in today, I saw all of the boats out there, and it looked almost like you could hop from one boat to the other, and my question was going to be, were any of those boats in danger? But I guess you answered that by saying that it actually fell inside the boat line then, toward the shore.
Yes, sir, John, and I thought the same thing. But you know the big orange, they look like street pylons on steroids. They're huge. You see them floating out in the water. That marks off where the planes are to go, and no pedestrians, no boaters are allowed within that flight line.
Well, certainly well thought out in that case. One more thing, Brian. What's the status of the show for tomorrow then?
That sounds great, John. You know what? Here's what I've learned. Apparently there are 6 jets, as we know, that do the shows, but they bring 8 to each show. There are 2 backup jets, and I've been told that each of those 2 backup jets are 2-seaters. So it's entirely possible if they get back and find out, as one person said to me, look, they could have hit a seagull or a goose, and it would have been enough to dislodge this rail. And given speeds of 200 miles an hour or more, you could see how that could happen. If they find out that it was something more than that, that'll be a different story altogether. John and Sylvia, back to you.
Okay, very interesting. Brian Brawdy from the waterfront this afternoon. Thank you for that report. And for Air and Water Show traffic information and to watch video all weekend long, CBS 2 is always on CBSChicago.com.